Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people just seem to build wealth so easily, while the rest of us feel like we're stuck on a financial treadmill? Well, Robert Kiyosaki's classic book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has a pretty simple but totally radical answer. So let's break down that core playbook in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, right off the bat, Kiyosaki just drops his bombshell on you. Poor Dad, like most people, said, "Our home is our greatest asset." But Rich Dad, he said, "My house is a liability." Now that one single counterintuitive idea, that's the key to unlocking the entire Rich Dad philosophy. It's meant to make you question everything you thought you knew about money.
You see, the power of the book comes from this central story. Kiyosaki basically had two fathers. First, there was his actual dad, who he calls his poor dad. This guy was a brilliant academic with a high-paying job, but he struggled with money his entire life. Then there was his best friend's father, his rich dad, who never even finished 8th grade, but ended up one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. So it was never about a formal education, it was all about mindset. Now, both of these dads worked incredibly hard, but poor dad was trapped in what rich dad called the rat race. And you know this cycle, right? You get a job, you make some money, you pay your bills. Then you get a raise, so you get a bigger house or a nicer car, and suddenly your expenses creep up right alongside your income. You feel like you're running faster and faster, but you're not actually getting anywhere. You're always just one paycheck away from trouble. This is the exact problem that the Rich Dad philosophy is designed to solve.
So how do you get out of the rat race? Well, according to Rich Dad, it all comes down to one simple golden rule. This is the foundation that all wealth is built on.
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? You must know the difference between an asset and a liability and buy assets. But here's the thing. Truly understanding this, and more importantly, applying it, is what separates the rich from everybody else. So, let's get into it. What is an asset according to Rich Dad?
It's simple. An asset generates income. Think about things like rental properties that bring in cash flow every month, or stocks that pay you dividends, or a business that runs even when you're not there. Basically, it's anything that feeds you money, creating that amazing stream of passive income. And a liability? Well, it's the exact opposite. It's anything that costs you money. This is your car payment, your credit card debt, and yeah, according to Kiyosaki, this is where your home mortgage, property taxes, and all the upkeep costs go. These are the things that are constantly draining cash out of your bank account. And this slide right here, this really visualizes the whole thing perfectly. Look at the poor and middle class. They focus on their income, their paycheck. The money comes in and boom, it goes right back out to pay for liabilities and expenses. But the rich, they focus on something completely different, their asset column. They use their income to buy assets first, and then those assets generate even more income, which then pays for all their expenses. It's a beautiful cycle, and it shows you exactly how the rich get richer. Their money is literally out there working to make them more money.
But, just knowing the rule isn't quite enough. To really put this into practice, you need a fundamental shift in how you think about work, about money, and honestly, about your own brain.
This quote just drives the point home. The whole idea is to break your dependency on a job just to survive. The goal isn't just to get a bigger paycheck, it's to build an army of assets that are earning for you 24/7, whether you're at a desk or not. This is such a powerful mental switch. Think about it. I can't afford it. That's a statement. It's a dead end. It just shuts your brain down. But asking, how can I afford it? That's a question. It forces your mind to start working, to look for solutions, to get creative, and to figure out a way to build or buy an asset that can then pay for the thing you want. See, Poor Dad was all about job security. His advice was to find a stable career and stick with it. Rich Dad's advice, totally different. He said, work to learn, not just to earn. He actually encouraged taking jobs specifically to learn valuable skills. Things like sales, marketing, accounting. Skills you could then use to build your own assets in your own business. The paycheck was just a short-term bonus. The real asset was the skill you walked away with. So if these rules are so simple, why isn't everybody rich? Well, Kiyosaki says it's because of our own internal roadblocks. Things like the fear of losing money that paralyzes us from ever investing, or cynicism, that voice in your head that just dismisses every new opportunity, or even just plain old laziness, being too busy to actually learn about your own finances. He says overcoming these things is the real battle. All right, so what's the path forward? What can you actually do? Kiyosaki lays out some really practical principles to start building up that asset column like today. This one right here is a total game changer. Most of us, we earn money, we pay all our bills, and then we see if there's anything left over to save.
The Rich Dad way flips that completely on its head. The second that income hits your account, the very first bill you pay is yourself, by putting that money directly into your asset column. This discipline does two amazing things. One, it guarantees that your assets are always growing, and two, the pressure you feel from the remaining bills actually forces you to get more creative about finding ways to generate more income. And that brings us to the ultimate question. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how long your money can take care of you. You see, true wealth isn't really a dollar amount at all. It's time. It's freedom. So let me just leave you with this. If you stopped working today, right now, what's your number? How long could you survive? Think about it, because that is the real measure of financial independence.